Hey Run Junkies, one of the most common questions about following a training plan is its rigidity. Most plans, regardless of the coach that designed them, follow some kind of formula from week to week. And that formula is pretty standard throughout that training plan. It never deviates and it never changes, and you have to follow it exactly that way. But how closely do you have to follow a training plan to get the results you want? Do you have to run every single mile that is on plan, planned for that day, exactly? Yes, you do. Okay, spoiler alert, no, you don't. But how flexible can we really be with our training? Today, let's talk about how a flexible training plan is not just possible, but sometimes in certain circumstances, it's encouraged. I get this question a lot. I see this question so many times, not only with my coaching clients, but in a lot of different online forums. Can I switch these two workouts? Can I move my long run back a day or up a day? Now, more often than not, the answer is sure, especially if you have other life stuff that would interfere with your training. If you can get the miles in on a different day, give or take a day, then it's probably all right. Moving runs around within a week is fine, but we do want to keep a few things in mind when we're following a written training plan, especially if you don't have access to a coach that can help answer that question. All right, most training plans have 3 to 4 key workouts within a given week. Now, within that workout week, yes, you might see those 3 to 4 key workouts, but you might see up to 6 or 7 workouts within that 7-day period. Depending on your goal, it's probably safe to say that not all 7 of those workouts are crucial to your training. The key is to identify what those key workouts are, what we have to make priority above all the other workouts. If you're training for a half or full marathon, for example, it's a good bet that your long run is one of those key workouts. If you are hoping for a race effort, maybe a PR or at least a strong time goal, then you might see some speed workouts in there, and those are key as well. Maybe speed or tempo workouts. You can find out all about those in this video right here. Lastly, if you aren't going for a time goal specifically, but you are doing a first at a distance, maybe a first half or full marathon, then look for those longer midweek runs, because those might be as important as well. I would also argue that maybe 1 or 2 cross-training efforts, especially if you're going for a speed goal, those might be some key workouts as well. The stronger you are, the better results you will see throughout your training. And so running specific strength sessions are probably added into those key workouts. So let me show you a recent week in my training calendar. This I worked up with my coach, so that will give you some perspective here. I have 3 Orange Theory workouts, 1 tempo run, 1 long run, and 3 basically optional 3-mile easy runs. I'm training for a PR on the half marathon. So in that case, my long run, the tempo run, and at least 1, if not 2 of those Orange Theory sessions where I'm working on strength and speed on the treadmill. Those are all key workouts. The rest of them are important, but not crucial to getting that PR. The 3rd Orange Theory session and all of those 3-milers that are planned in there are basically icing on the cake. So if I'm feeling fatigued, overtrained, and I need a little bit of extra rest, maybe those are the ones that go. Or if I see a week of busy stuff coming up and I have to move things around a little bit, I can say that these are the important workouts and these are the optional. If I can get them in, great, but I'm not going to stress about missing. Okay, after you've prioritized your key workouts, you want to be very careful not to cram them all together. For example, I'm not gonna do my speed session at Orange Theory, the next day do my tempo run, and then the next day do my long run. Those are the workouts we want to break up a little bit by separating them with a day of rest or an easier workout in between. Another thing to keep in mind that unless your training plan actually has these listed, try to only do 1 long run within a 7-day period and not on back-to-back days. Like I said, there are exceptions. So let's say you have to skip or drop an easy day in order to get one of these key workouts in. You do not need to make up those miles. In fact, it might be better that you don't. Taking that 3-mile run and cramming it somewhere into next week is a really good way to start that overtraining cycle and get you injured down the line. Let that run go. If it doesn't get done in that 7-day time frame, don't worry about it, let it go. Another thing that is built into a lot of training plans, a lot of coaches realize that life happens. Most training plans and even each workout within that training plan has a little bit of flex built into it. So let's say you are getting ready to go out for your long 12-miler and you're not feeling it, or conditions are bad, or something happens and you only get 9 miles. It's not only you just got 9 miles. That's fine, it still counts. You don't have to make up those extra 3 miles. You did a long run, it counts. Cutting a workout short is not a cardinal sin. In fact, I've left a link in the description below to a Runner's World about Allie Kiefer, who was very open about her training and how she actually cut a few of her workouts short. In fact, she didn't follow her training plan exactly, and it led her to a PR. Here's the thing about running that I wish everyone understood. More is not always better. In fact, more often than not, it's worse. The recovery in between workouts is where the magic happens. Yes, we have to go out and do the work, and we have to work hard. But when we are resting hard and recovering well, that's when we get stronger. Sometimes following a training plan to the letter can still lead to overtraining and injury if you're not used to that kind of volume. The bottom line is this, and I've said this so many times, training is part of our lives and not exclusive of it. It happens within our life bubble. We can't magically step outside of our responsibilities and just get our running done regardless of what else is going on in our lives. We have other responsibilities, as much as we'd love to run away from them, and let me tell you how often I do that. So when these other obligations and responsibilities come up and we have to ask that question, can I move runs around? The answer more often than not is yes, if you keep these tips in mind. Do the best you can with what you got. My question for you today is this: how often, if at all, do you move your runs around? Are you flexible with your training plan, or do you try to stick as close to as written as possible? Please leave thoughts, questions, comments, and suggestions in the comment section down below. As always, give me a thumbs up if you like this video, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. There's more great stuff coming from this channel, so I will see you on the next one, and until then, go find your awesome and happy running.